the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. He's about to walk into the podcast right now. This is probably one of the most, if not the most controversial podcast we
for sure the most
have ever done.
Yeah.
I see so much stuff about, what's going on in Israel and, Iran and Palestine. And to be honest, I just really don't know. Probably going to be a lot of hate in the comments and stuff like that.
The Nelk Boys have finally done it. After years of acting like fame and money made them untouchable, they've managed to blow up what's left of their credibility. These guys went from pulling dumb frat boy pranks to sitting down with one of the most hated political figures on the planet. And they didn't have a clue what they were walking into. No research, no accountability, just smiles and softball questions for a man accused of war crimes. And now, their own fans are turning on them.
You got everyone mad. I hate Iran. Sellout. W. L-Pod. BB's a war criminal. Damage control. Sellouts. Fuck Iranians. Jesus Christ.
Then came the interview that sent everything into a tailspin. Out of nowhere, the Nelk Boys decided it would be a great idea to sit down with Benjamin Netanyahu. Yes, the same Benjamin Netanyahu wanted by the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes and genocide. This wasn't some surprise guest prank or a controversial comedian. This was the Prime Minister of Israel, a man currently at the center of one of the most divisive and deadly conflicts in modern history. The reaction was instant and brutal. Within 24 hours, their YouTube channel lost more than 10,000 subscribers. The comments section turned into a war zone. And it wasn't just coming from one political side. People on the right and the left were calling them out for the same thing, platforming a man accused of genocide and letting him get away with nothing but softballs. And it's not like Kyle and Steiny went in ready to challenge him. They openly admitted, on camera, that they had no idea what was going on in Israel, Gaza, or Palestine.
I see so much stuff about, what's going on in Israel and, Iran and Palestine. And to be honest, I just really don't know.
Their big plan was to get educated by Netanyahu himself, which basically meant giving him an hour to say whatever he wanted without a single meaningful pushback. Instead of pressing him on the civilian death toll, war crimes accusations, or the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, they asked about his favorite fast food. While almost 60,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 7th, 2023, and the UN's top court has ordered Israel to prevent genocidal acts, they were debating Burger King versus McDonald's. One viewer summed it up perfectly. Imagine asking someone about their burger preference while they're starving a million people. Netanyahu used the platform exactly how his critics expected, to paint anti-Israel protesters as un-American, slam New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani as anti-Semitic for criticizing him, and frame Israel's military actions as protecting free societies. When asked why he's so hated worldwide, Netanyahu insisted he's not hated, blaming propaganda and even claiming Israel's attack on Iran liberated Europe from Iranian missiles. None of it was challenged. There was no follow-up, no fact-checking, just nods and transitions to the next topic. The optics were terrible. Even if you set politics aside, the Nelk Boys looked unprepared, out of their depth, and totally blind to how bad it would look to their own audience. These are guys whose fans tuned in for wild stories, partying, and ridiculous interviews, not to watch them hand a microphone to a political leader under an ICC arrest warrant. And when the backlash hit, they didn't own up to the mistake. Instead, they doubled down, saying it's just their style to have the most controversial people on and let the audience decide. That might sound edgy when you're talking about O.J. Simpson or Andrew Tate. But when your guest is accused of mass starvation and bombing civilians, people aren't going to see it as just another episode.
I was really upset because I'm somebody who hates Netanyahu and I know what he's doing and it's a genocide. I think he's worse than Adolf Hitler. I mean, at least, the differences are a comparison.
And the thing people have to understand is this. The Netanyahu disaster wasn't some freak accident. It was the inevitable result of years of reckless choices baked into the Nelk Boys brand from the very beginning. These guys built their fame on public stunts and drunk party vlogs. But somewhere along the way, they figured out there was even more money in selling a lifestyle that blends frat house chaos with political outrage. And not just any outrage, the kind that plays perfectly with the far-right ecosystem they've gotten comfortable in. We're talking about a group that went from let's prank our buddy in a convenience store to being regulars with some of the most extreme political voices in America. They've pulled in over 21 million followers across platforms, earning tens of millions from merch, Happy Dad seltzer, supplements and subscriptions. They know exactly who their audience is, mostly young men, some barely in high school. And they've been feeding them a steady diet of gambling, drinking, hookup culture, alpha male posturing, and now extremist politics. They've sat down with Donald Trump multiple times, sold Trump 2024 merch, danced with him at rallies, and even been invited onto Air Force One. They've hosted Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Vivek Ramaswamy, Patrick Bet-David, and others, posting not only on YouTube and TikTok, but also on Rumble, a platform notorious for white nationalist propaganda and conspiracy theories. They've also turned pranks into a vehicle for bigotry. The transgender prank with a banana stuffed in pants. The dog in a tutu at a vet's office. The fake ICE raid on immigrants. And the UPS delivery of caged puppies to an Asian restaurant. All framed as comedy.
We wanted to do like a gender transition to him being female. But we don't want to neuter him.
Please see this question. I don't authorize you to be recording you.
So we're just filming a documentary for his transition.
You guys don't offer sex changes yet?
That would be, yeah. Those are special.
It's very transphobic.
When it comes to the misogyny pipeline, they're fully tapped in. Their 2022 Full Send podcast with Andrew Tate pulled 11 million views before YouTube deleted it, giving him space to say 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive because they've been through less dick. That women's property becomes his if they date, and that women should wear their body count on their forehead. No challenge, no pushback, just laughs. They've platformed Sneeko, who's been filmed hitting a woman, refused to condemn Hitler, praised Nazis, and spoken at Nick Fuentes' anti-Semitic rallies. Steinberg even joked about how women, LGBTQ, Jewish, black, you name it, all want to attack the fuck out of this guy.
I'm not sure what this podcast is. It's like two drunk Jews like bicker and they're like, I'm just sit off to the side.
He's also
like,
racist, anti-Semitic.
look, I mean, there's,
If you're part of the LGBTQ, if you're Jewish, if you're black, if you're not Muslim, Christian, or if you're a woman, trans, you want to attack the fuck out of this guy.
all of those?
I love everybody.
They've partied with John Zherka, a self-proclaimed pedo who's praised Hitler and been accused of flirting with underage girls. When mainstream right-wing figures come on, it's the same formula. Owens backed Uganda's anti-homosexuality law. Vivek Ramaswamy called being trans a mental health illness. And Kyle followed up with, that's just a load of bullshit on climate change. They've entertained 9/11 conspiracy theories with Owens and Alex Jones, denied climate change, and admitted on camera they often don't research guests. And the scary part? A lot of their fans are kids. Boys as young as 11 years old have been filmed meeting Sneeko, wearing Nelk merch, and parroting their rhetoric. This isn't harmless entertainment. Misogynistic, racist, and extremist talking points don't stay online. They spill over into real-world harassment, abuse, and violence. And the Nelk Boys have been shaping a generation's worldview with some of the worst influences the internet has to offer.
First of all, you vouching for me doesn't mean shit, okay?
Means
First,
something, no?
First and foremost. No, it doesn't. I love you, Steiny. You worked your ass off, and guess what? You're in that chair. Because of me.
He's doing it again, right? You had nothing to do with your success. It's all because of Bob. This is your delusion, believing that, yes, you gave Steiny an opportunity, but Steiny's in this chair right now because Steiny has showed up for every thing that Kyle has asked him to
Steiny
do.
is in this chair right now because he is your rat.
And this is exactly why they deserve every bit of the backlash they're drowning in. For years, the Nelk Boys have operated on a simple formula. Chase whatever gets them the most clout and the biggest payout, no matter who they have to platform or how far they have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. It's never been about building something with integrity or leaving a lasting impact. It's always been about the next viral clip, the next merch drop, the next political guest who'll get their names trending. They had the chance to evolve. They had the reach, the money, and the fan base to transition into respected creators, to grow up with their audience. Instead, they doubled down on shock value and toxic associations. That's not growth. That's a refusal to change, because the circus act still sells. Once your audience decides you'll sell them out for a headline, the trust is gone. You don't get it back with some half-baked, we'll give the other side a chance excuse.
At the end of the day, it's like we get the opportunity to sit down with one of the most powerful people in the world, a world leader.
Yeah.
And we get to ask him some stuff, and we're going to ask him what we want to ask him too.
The Netanyahu interview wasn't just a bad episode. It was the final proof that they're reckless, naive, and completely out of touch with the weight of the platform they have. And where are they now? Clinging to whatever's left. They're still pushing Happy Dad, still chasing controversial guests, still pretending the backlash doesn't matter. But the numbers tell a different story. Bleeding subscribers, tanking credibility, and a comment section they can't control. Even their core fans are starting to call them sellouts, and every desperate livestream or tone-deaf post makes it worse. At this point, it's not about whether they'll recover. It's about how far they'll sink before they finally realize the brand they built isn't untouchable anymore. So, what do you think? Have the Nelk Boys finally hit the wall, or will they find some way to claw back? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you want more deep dives like this, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one.